Hello, welcome pen friends. This is kind of an exciting day because this is my YouTube anniversary. It's the birthday of this channel, and it's 7 full years that I've been making videos here on YouTube. And I really like to pause every year and reflect and think about it, and it feels good to look back sometimes. In fact, sometimes I'll look back on the older stuff and say, wow, I really did that, But I decided to come on and just do a face-to-face talking video with you. And I have quite a few notes because I just got done a really fun little exercise. I went back through all the videos, and it took a long time of scrolling on my PC to get to the bottom. And in doing that, I found out I have 745 videos on here, that I've made. Now, a few of them, just a very small sample of them are book videos, but everything else is fountain pen hobby related, ink related, the whole 9 yards. So it's quite interesting because, I took my calculator, I just had to do it. And that comes out to 106 videos a year. And this is all average because it varies wildly. 8 a month, or approximately 2 per week. And, we all know that there were times when I did a video every day, and there are times when it might be 2 weeks between videos. But, I have average consistency sometimes. Let's just put it that way. But I had a blast going down through, and what I did was I just put the numbers 1 through 7 on a piece of paper, and I kind of jotted down, so everything starts with year 1, and I just jotted down little highlights to kind of remind myself of, well, what was I doing, what was going on, and that was amazing. But before we start, I wanted to mention, of course, the classic, the video that really started it all. And if nobody had watched that video, I might not have continued. I might not have felt like, doing it. But the video that's titled Fountain Pen Organizing with Cigar Boxes, that was September 7, 2017 when I did that video. And as of right now, it's got over 10,000 views, which is just wildly insane for my videos. My videos typically, over the years, got between 400 and 1,000, just average, with a few anomalies. So before we start, and to keep my head at, a nice small size so I can fit through the door, I want to tell you that my top all-time video is a pencil video. So just keep that in mind. Okay, it's entitled Papermate Clear Point 0.7 Mechanical Pencil Review, and it tops out at 33,277 views. So my top piece or video that I've ever done has nothing to do with fountain pens. It's my favorite mechanical pencil. So that'll help me, be excited and happy, but not get a big head, I guess. Okay, and then the next one, so I decided to look at the top 3. Just, because, hey, I was already there looking at it. So number 2 is entitled My 12 Favorite Inks of All Time. And that got 26,944 views. And, that doesn't surprise me because my channel, and we'll talk about each year, I might as well give myself permission to just come on here and just talk because it's kind of a reward, I guess, But that didn't surprise me. My channel got known as an ink reviewing channel, and I did a lot, and I still do a lot with ink. I just do it differently, and it's morphed and phased over the years. So then that number 3 one really made me feel good because I like this video. I myself, and often the videos that we like the best ourselves are complete duds. I'd ask anybody, you can get so excited about something and have so much invested in it, and then that is not what people like or interested in. It sometimes turns out to be something that you never thought might even catch on at all. So, but here's the number 3 one. It's called My Top 5 Fountain Pens, and it was the 2023. I've done that several different times, but that is one of my favorite videos, so myself. And so that got 22,100 views. So pretty exciting. So let's see. I wanted to say too, I had been in fountain pens again, back into writing with fountain pens for about a year before I started my channel. And so there was that. And then, oh, there was another point I wanted to make, and it is starting to slip. It's slipped out, I think, but it'll probably come up in the notes, so I won't delay any longer. Shoot. Okay, so just to give you a little background though, before I started doing anything with YouTube, I was live streaming on Periscope, and this won't be brand new to those of you who follow me from the beginning. I mentioned this in several of my other, anniversary birthday videos. So I was Periscoping about books with a book club called Bookstream TV, which is based out of Facebook, which I no longer am involved at all with Facebook, but it was wonderful because every Friday we did what was called a scope train, and I was the least likely to ever take on to such a thing because it was quite nerve-wracking actually. We, in vertical format, we watched each person as they came on and gave a little 5-minute spiel about what they thought about the reading in the book that we were doing. And we each took a turn. And it had to be, you had to have all your title typed out and be ready to press live before anything started. So it was, I guess it broke through my, it made me realize I kind of did enjoy doing videos. So I don't think I would have done YouTube if it hadn't been for that. And before Periscope disappeared completely, I actually had a couple of my videos, and they're way back, like 7 years ago. I did upload some of them to YouTube because I thought they were kind of fun, and it's nice to look back sometimes. So I went through all those 745 videos, just glancing, kind of getting a trend, and so I noticed something about the years. So the first year, it was pretty big. The theme that jumped out as I scrolled through all those videos was pen allowance. I was showing you what I got, and I was coming on, and I did quite a bit with little, ink comparisons, and I was just barely dabbling with that kind of thing. And then really when I would call my big break came when I started doing Ink Flight box, their subscription box from Ink Journal. I started doing reveal videos and showing what was in the box and swatching the colors, and that kind of took things to a different level. It took me about a year. Okay, this was the point that I wanted to make. It's better here though. It took me about a year to get 1,000 subscribers, and I already had the watch time. So, and then that's probably changed since then, though. I think the bar got lifted. So, you could say it was much easier then. So, so now going into the second year, I monetized by then, and that started really helping me to get more inks and more pens and you name it. And I started getting really into doing the 30 inks, 30 days challenges and doing, the first couple of times I did a video every day for 30 days, which I don't do that anymore. I don't think I'll ever try doing that anymore because I think life's changed since then for me. And that just, that creates so much demand resistance in me that I don't think I could do it. However, me and my ink journal and going there every day to do the same exact thing that I would talk about on the video, I do it anyway. It's the idea of, all the uploading and tagging and fixing and all that. No, it's too much. It was fun though at that time. So I noticed some pen pal content. So I was already doing pen pals letters during that time. And of course I couldn't jot down everything I saw, but I really enjoyed this. So then the third year, it was heavy on the 30 inks, 30 days. I must have done every single one. And I started doing much more ink reviews during that time. So it seems like year 2 and 3 were the heaviest on ink content. And we adopted Coco from the neighbor, brought him over here, soaking wet, all of, like 2 pounds. And so that was something too. My cat, for anybody who doesn't know. And then I started doing, during the third year, quite a few videos on how to enjoy the hobby without spending money. So it had to have been what was running through my mind, as well. Anything that I was sharing was something I was experiencing. My hair is driving me wackadoodle. Okay, so then year 4, that is the year when inkswatch.com was launched. And I actually got the date. The date that we did that launch video was June 25th, 2020, when Matt had approached me about using the idea of, using my tiles to create a comparison website. Well, he did all of that. It really, I actually tried to talk him out of including me because it's just all him, building the website and coming up with that. That is way above my head, but so much fun to see the inks, get cataloged that way, and it's still going strong. So that was a really that was one of the things I wrote down as a big milestone. And at that time, I started seeing progress reports and Chris's inked pens appear, and I could tell that's when I started, really wanting to use the ink samples that I had and try out and write with all of them and keep myself kind of on a month-to-month program where I would rotate my ink usage and stuff. So that's kind of where that was born. And then on year 5, I jotted down, that's the year that I got that great big 16-ounce bottle of Noodler's King Philip Requiem, which it was the favorite ink of a pen pal of mine who's since passed away of cancer. But she, it was a grail ink for me. And then one day I just suddenly found that it was available in this giant bottle. Well, I'll never do that again, but it's a memorable and very exciting thing. And also, seeing her writing in the pen pal letters was a lot different than writing with that ink. It turned out that particular Noodler's ink was kind of like Bay State blue, only it's this magenta, purple, fuchsia, and it stains stuff. So, it was a cool lesson learned, but and if you treat that kind of ink properly, you could still write with it, and it's gorgeous. I don't think it's really doesn't meet its match anywhere else, except that I kind of steer around it now. I don't use it as much. I still have some, a little bit. So, and I see that let's see, somewhere in there I did my first ink vent where I went through and it makes sense because I wanted all of those the Diamine ink vent, the December inks to be included on inkswatch.com. So that's when that started. And I continued with Chris's ink pens and occasional 30 inks, 30 days. But I started handling them differently, just taking you into my ink journal and, going through it like that instead of the daily videos, which was cool. And then year 6, I put down routine. Okay, so it became really routine and solid for me to do the Chris's ink pens and the progress reports. And I started doing the student pen study, which didn't last a long time, but I learned a lot from it. Kind of at the same time, though, I was trying out new, really exciting pens, like in the Opus 88, and then I got a Pelikan M800, and then let's see, after that, my first Benu pen. So it was hard to compete. To have the student pens compete with those pens, really, even though they're such solid writers. And I just love them for throwing in the bag to take with me to doctor's appointments when I'm going with people and, have a nice solid pen that's not going to mess up and it's going to be reliable and it can be taken with me. And if I lose it, it won't be the end of the world. So, and then I jotted down another ink vent. Okay, then, so year 7, which basically is this past year, because now we're going to embark on the 8th year, but so year 7, I wrote down first, Burnout emerges. Okay, so probably had emerged before this, but my sort of recognition and really seriously wanting to heal it and work with it, which I feel like I really have done, that emerged. And I did videos around that because that's what I do. I'm sharing with you what I'm actually doing in the hobby. So, and then a lot of reflection videos over the past year, starting like say last September, October, on inventorying my collection, looking at top favorite inks, and journaling videos that kind of recap my whole history with journaling, and it really enjoyed those kind of things. And still that stable base of Chris's ink pens, and going ahead and making sure that I try out inks each month, and new combinations. So, and then I wrote down at the very end, oh, well, first I wrote down gradual return of my ink enthusiasm. Yeah, I had lost I didn't want to see another blue ink. I didn't want to, there were just, after a while it had become pretty mind-numbing, so many that I had looked at. But that has really gotten better recently. I think, for a long time there, I focused on my top 24 inks, and I started using more of my bottled inks, and I kind of let it rest a little, all of that constantly seeking a new ink. And so that's gotten better. And I've gotten a lot more enthusiasm now for trying out samples, which is a real good thing because I still have samples to try out, quite a few. And then I wrote down book content is sprinkled in from the very beginning. There, I had to get a drink of water because my enthusiasm outpaces my voice by miles and miles and miles. But so I also wrote down my 3 strongest whys, of having this channel, of sharing fountain pen content here on YouTube. And the first one is connection. Making a connection with like-minded people that love pens and inks, and it seems like we all love books and cats too, but that's a generalization, but it holds up pretty strong. So there's all these connections and ideas that we share in the comment section, and a good many people that watch my videos, I watch theirs too, especially when I'm not quite as weak with the buying bug, or whatever you want to call it. And then my number 2, which I guess number 1 and 2 are pretty neck and neck, but it's being able to make a contribution, being able to help someone even a little bit to know whether they want to try an ink, or, and giving my opinions about things, paper, and especially, and I would say in the beginning even more, but still ongoing, it's been my number 1 theme or thread that I really believe that you don't have to be rich to enjoy this hobby. And, whether that means having a YouTube channel, getting it monetized so you can afford to buy stuff, or just getting, into the community and sharing with each other, or whatever it means. I used to write with 1 fountain pen when I was in high school, and I loved how smooth it was. It was a little Schaefer student pen, and you just popped a cartridge in. And, I just know that it doesn't have to be, a wallet draining, budget busting thing. Just, there's been times when I veered off the road in those directions, but it doesn't have to be. And then the last thing I wrote down, which I don't know if I was just trying to come up with another word that began with a C, that could happen to our brains, but I put cash, to fund the hobby, because the monetization that I do have, it helps a lot. You don't notice it month to month. I used to be able to count on about $75 a month or so that the channel would generate, and that holds true pretty much now. Sometimes it goes higher, sometimes it goes lower, but when you look at the whole year, and I do my taxes, for instance, and I didn't go back and cross-reference everything, but, anywhere between $600 and $1,000, that's significant to be able to add to your collection or your hobby, to be able to, it's to me, it's significant. It's like having an allowance, a really nice one that you don't have to pull out of your budget. So it's real. It's really a thing. Connection, contribution, and cash. So, and I forgot to mention this. I just have so much gratitude and so much, appreciation for the fact that this is a free platform. Now, I had that experience with Periscope where it was there one day and it was fun, and then it was gone. I don't think it lasted more than a couple years, a year. I don't know how long Periscope lasted, but it wasn't there. Now, YouTube has a longer running history, but we can't know how long this will be, a place where we're able to, earn the extra, hobby money and whatnot. So I want to really, really appreciate it and keep going and be glad of it and hope that we get to keep this free and fun platform, because it's been awesome. It's awesome for me in many different areas, to learn about and to, book reviews and other subjects too that I just love to watch. So, now, at the very end, and before we get to the part where I just blab or whatever, which I've already done, but you know what I mean. I did write down 3 little tips for anybody, but especially if if you have a YouTube channel of your own or you're thinking about starting one. The number 1 tip that I have is a really small thing that probably everybody knows, but I don't think everybody in the world knows, because I watch a lot of videos where I'll start watching and I'll like, oh, I didn't get it at the beginning. So I'll back it all the way up to 0 and it still is like, wait, I mean, they're cut off. So I always go by the 2-second rule. I press record and I let it go to 2, 2001, 2002, then I start talking, because it's real annoyance if even part of one word in the beginning is cut off. Don't want to lose that. And I haven't actually noticed that on anybody who makes fountain pen videos, but it's a general thing that I guess I just wanted to mention. So, and then the second thing, which came up for me when I was looking for some videos that I want to pin and, have it available for you to watch if you want to see them. There was one I couldn't find. And that leads me to the tip of making sure that your titles are concise enough that you can find the video again. And you can use hashtags. That will help quite a bit. I always use the hashtag fountain pen hobby, because I kind of think that's a good general hashtag that gets people to where they want to go if they're just looking for general. But if you're going to do a review on a GenHow X750, then I would highly recommend hashtag GenHow X750, something like that. And it'll help you retrieve your content if somebody asks you a question. There are times when I can't remember for sure, well, did I do a video on that? I'm not going to remember every single thing from 7 years ago forward, 7 full years of videos. So that's a real helpful thing. And then the last thing I wrote down was beware of burnout and over-acquiring. Just be aware of it. Be aware that it can happen. It can happen in any hobby or sport or job or anything. But I think it's good if you can kind of read a little bit about it or watch a few videos and just be aware that it can happen, because the last thing in the world I would want is for my hobby to be tainted or kind of ruined, by something that's preventable, that I could have, got better balance to begin with. And now coming out of that, I'm really glad to be, putting it behind me, but it didn't feel good at the time. So that's just my 2 cents there. And that is the end of my actual notes, my formal part of the video. And we're at 23 minutes. Okay, so there was one video missing. I couldn't find all of the 6. I found 5 videos. The first one was titled Celebrating 1 Year of Pen Videos, which I didn't take the time to watch it, but I might. I might one of these, if I get bored later on. And then the next one, celebrating 2 years of fountain pen and ink videos. And then the third one was missing. I couldn't find year 3, and I'm not sure what happened. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably there. It was probably buried or titled under something else where it just it wasn't an intuitive title, which is not like me. I'm usually pretty good at titling things. So then the 4th year was titled Reflecting on 4 Years of Creating YouTube Videos. Then I went back to celebrating 5 years on YouTube, celebrating 6 years on YouTube. That seems to be just, easier, and I'll probably do that for this one. But so that's it. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who has contributed to this channel. And you are a contributor if you're watching. You're a contributor if you press like. You're a contributor if you're a subscriber. You know, if you write a comment, you're a contributor. You know, everybody who sent me ink samples, heavens, oh, mercy, ink samples, pens, notebooks. It's humbling, the amount of support that I've received. And I haven't, you know, with very few exceptions, I haven't actually done, you know, work with companies or anything like that. I like being independent. I like it better. And that also, though, means that sometimes I won't see certain things because they're out of my budget. And that's fine with me. That's, you know, that sort of puts it more realistic, I think. But at the same time, on this channel, I've reviewed and had things to try and owned things that I could never actually purchase. And that's because of you. People that are watching, wonderful subscribers and pen friends and pen pals and just wonderful people in this community. So I like to think of this channel, really, it's a subscriber sponsored. That's the only way I can really think of it, because that's, you know, first in the beginning, I never would have continued if people hadn't been interested and watched. So it's really fun. But like I said, just to keep in mind, my #1 top video of all time, the #1 viewed video on this channel is a pencil video. So you gotta love it. It's so ironic and so silly, but I kind of think it's funny. Every time I see that, it just, I mean, it's way up there too. It's like, let's see, 26. 7,000 more views than anything else on my channel. So I guess I'll leave you with that, because this is really all just about celebrating, being happy, and acknowledging to myself and to us, because this just wouldn't exist if it was just me making videos and nobody watched. This is a community within the larger fountain pen community. And I belong to many other different communities out there too. And I'm starting to feel less shaky about watching videos. Like, I know that, first off, I know that our budget just doesn't allow me to buy stuff right now. So it's pretty safe for me to watch just about anything. If I want to, you know, if I'm afraid I'm going to forget something that I might want to get someday, I'll just write it down on a list. But anyway, I thank you for watching. I thank you for all of your support over 7 full years. Some of you have been here from the very beginning. Like, you know, when I started this, I think I had a little video of my grandchildren playing on a skateboard when they were like babies, and I had a little flooding video, which I think I probably made private, some of those things that were just, you know, way too private. And I had maybe 2 people that were subscribed to my channel. Heaven only knows who they were, you know, probably relatives. And then, you know, when I put up some of the book stuff, I had maybe 10. And then, like I said, it took a year to get 1,000. So it's been built slowly and steadily and all that. But I don't plan to go anywhere. I'm looking for, you know, a vision for the future. I already said I was going to say goodbye, and this is what happens. I just get started when I'm ready to leave, I guess. But yeah, I'm looking for, as I always have done, I'm looking for where to take things next. You know, but I noticed when I looked at those 745 videos that there wasn't an extreme drastic, it didn't appear extreme and drastic. It just sort of phased from one way of looking at inks and sharing to another. It didn't, and you know, that's just my perspective. Maybe it may have been a little bit more drastic than that for some. I mean, I remember telling everybody to go watch Adam, an ink guy, because I felt so bad about that I wasn't no longer doing the in-depth videos, but he started doing them, and I was so thrilled that there was somebody else. And then Marilyn too came along and started doing ink reviews, and other people, Manda B and so on and so forth. So, okay, this time I mean it, because I'm coming up on 30 minutes. That's usually my limit. So I will see you on the next video, which should be a recap of where I'm at in my ink journal. I'm doing, this September 2024 is totally different than usual, and I'm focusing on ink samples this month. I'm kind of missing having brand new pen and ink combos, but that'll come for October, and we'll be there before we know it. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.